here, up there. This state is going to be one big spider web between gathering lines, production lines, transmission lines. It's going to be one big mess.
They gotta get that gas to market, guys.
This is how close they came in Dallas, Pennsylvania, to Simon's home.
And I believe that these pipelines are coming down through Hershey. You know more about that than I do. So.
Yeah. Hopefully all of you have seen articles this week about the pipeline, the Commonwealth pipeline, that will be coming down through Lancaster County. So this is not, we're not just saying that it might affect everyone. It will affect Lancaster County. It starts in Lycoming, it's going down into Maryland, 200 miles. We have very little information about it. All that I've seen in writing is that it will be between Harrisburg and Lancaster, and that it will cross the Susquehanna River to get to Peach Bottom, to a big compressor station there. So read up about it, because there's no restriction on how close it can come to homes. They can use eminent domain. It's right here.
Yeah, you guys might not see the drilling now. I do believe one day, once all the legislation is in place, because you guys are very vocal compared to the rural areas of Breath County and Summit County, an area like that. You guys are vocal, so let's get these legislations in place, so then you have no say at all. And right now, you guys should be squealing, because this is a huge impact in your area.
Yep.
Once you give it up, it's going to be very hard to get it back.
Yep.
Oh, signs everywhere. We have signs that gas is here, and it's a great big old gas ball again. Okay, to me, this is my neighbor's farm. You know, you don't really realize what you have until it's gone. I want you guys to really get familiar with what it's really worth. Why are you at where you're at? Why do you love your home? Maybe it was passed on to you. Why do you love your farm? There's a reason why you're there. Understand what it means to you before it is gone. This farmer here sold his cows while they were drilling. He doesn't have a pipeline. He's counting on getting royalties. And this is something else I want you to understand. He doesn't know if all 400 acres is going to be in a production unit. We know of farmers that have 1,000 acres. Well, 1/10 of an acre is in the production unit. His royalty is $1.20 a year. We have no say on how much we're going to make, okay? So he's jumping the gun. I think I want to tell you something that what I do know. As a farmer living in Bradford County, I've seen 33 dairy farms go out of business last year. They sold their cows, so now they're inactive. Some were due directly from the gas activity in their farm, and some was indirectly related to the gas industry because of the gas royalty leaks. So what I'm going to say is, after our water turned white and my daughter becoming ill, and my cow's skins are blistered, the additional cost we pay to have our milk hauled away, and I don't know if you guys know that we have to pay 8 cents a hundred more to haul our milk away. And now I may lose my milk market, and more than likely I may lose 80% of my property value. Well, I wouldn't give to have my country, my little county, my friends, and my daughter home. Okay?
And I think Elaine mentioned this. Pennsylvania had a study they did, Penn State Extension. It's available online. It's called Pennsylvania Dairy Farms and Marcellus Shale, 2007 to 2010. I took a little glance at your statistics, and actually you're up 9.5% in cow numbers and up 13.1% in milk production, where we're down quite a bit. 18.8% in cows and 18.2% in milk production. That might change as they come down here. I see it as a greatly influencing the dairy. I have extension agents that argue with me all the time, and in this study they even say we cannot attribute it to the gas industry. but I hear that all the time, and that's the only thing that has changed in our area, so it's more likely than not.
No, those farmers are getting old, they're dying off. That's okay.
Okay, this is
Your
kind
baby.
of my thing, but this happens to be a search that I did on my daughter's property. Hers was owned by Chief Oil and Gas. They sold her assignment. Now, this isn't the whole portion. This is fractions of the royalty interest 12 times. So 1/8 of 1% was sold to family trusts over in Australia. Some of them were sold to China. Some of them were sold somewhere else. So all of these people will be getting checks from the minerals that are coming from underneath her ground. These were all done. Some of them have different arrangements. Some of them are only for specific minerals. Some of them, most of them, do not share in the costs that the landowners have to.
Can I jump in there?
Yeah.
They're called royalty investors. They will receive the same or a larger part of the royalty payments without production costs. And they don't receive any damage on their property because it's here in the United States. It's not in China, in their backyard. Gas company investors that bought the royalty interest usually don't pay the severance tax. See, they signed this agreement, it looks just like a lease. The production costs are subtracted, and they don't pay the severance tax, excise tax, or production tax. And usually they don't pay the production costs, especially the gas companies that buy these assignments. Why don't they feel the impacts? We do. Why don't they pay? So that's about what I have to say.
This is a slide that we have in all our presentations, so if some of you have seen it before, here it is again. The landowner, when we start out, owns 100% of the pie of underneath our earth. This is how the whole scheme works in this investment operation. When we lease, we own all of 100% of all the minerals, theoretically, to the center of the earth. That's how it's described in law. To the center of the earth, you own 100% of Pennsylvania. We are one of the states that are very fortunate to have that right. There are other states that don't have that right. So then when we lease, typically, the typical lease required by Pennsylvania is 12.5%. We've gotten a little smarter up there now, and sometimes we get 30%, sometimes we get 25%. But that's eased off now too. That was easily negotiated when the costs were better. So we lease that level.
35% of what?
35% of the royalty. So in other words, when the well or the mineral is harvested and sold, you own 35% of that, or in my case, 12.5% of it. The company owns the 87.5%, and they can do with it as they want. And you'll
So
see
that lease is not actually a true lease. It's a bill of sale. Because what happens is, like she said, we own 100%. When you sign a lease, you retain only 12.5%. You allow the gas company to have the 87.5%. Like she said, they do whatever they want with that. So then they sell portions of it like that.
They sliver it out to those 12 people that I showed you on that list prior to investors who come in and buy an interest in your earth.
Now, an attorney told us, I've never seen the paperwork, but I don't trust attorneys either, but I'm just going to gossip for a minute and tell you that he said for every 2% on 100 acres sold, they generate on the average $8 million. Okay? That's how they need to generate money. Remember, everything's based on money. The gas company has other ways of making money instead of just worrying about how they're going to sell gas on market. They hedge the market. They hedge this market down. They're making a lot of money on it because they flooded the market. It's like insider trading. They also can sell overseas. They're paying more than the commodity price of $260. All right, can Americans compete with that? Are you going to pay $16 MCF? I don't think so, because commodity says it's $260. It's a lie when they say that let's harvest this energy so we can be independent from foreign oil. when they're going to sell it to the highest bidder. That's just business. You guys are business people, and you sell to make money. And doesn't it make sense?
And
That's what they do.
The industry will not deny this now. 2 years ago, when I approached them with it, and others have, they denied it. Now they're hyping it up, and it's so low. Well, it's just business, and wouldn't you do the same thing if you were in business? That's not how it was sold to me. It was sold to me that it was going to make us independent, not somebody else in energy independent.